They call it the Lenovo Legion 5 Pro, one of the best laptops for creators in regards to the build quality, performance, and the price to performance abilities of this laptop. Now this one comes with the Ryzen 7 6800H and RTX 3060 with 16 gigs of RAM. Now remember that this system is fully upgradable, so you can swap both RAM sticks. You have two M.2 slots, one comes occupied, one comes unoccupied, and it has a decent sized battery that gets a great battery life performance. So I'm really stoked about this model because I've recently reviewed the i7-12700H model as well, and I'll be doing a head-to-head review between those two, so you can find out if you should choose Ryzen or Intel with one of the best laptops for creators for the year. Now, in case you didn't know, Lenovo has sent us 3 Lenovo Legion 5 Pros to give away once we reach 100,000 subscribers. So if you've yet to subscribe, definitely do that, because when we pass that 100,000 subscriber mark, we'll be kicking off the giveaway. The battery life on this laptop is great. It's actually better than the Intel version. To give you a little sneak into the Intel versus the Ryzen review of this laptop. But you can get about 8 hours of productivity out of this laptop, which is really nice being that this is a powerful gaming laptop. Now, one of the things I wasn't able to preview for you during the unboxing is a sample of the audio out of this laptop. So here's a quick sample of the audio so you can hear what that sounds like. And for a sample of the webcam, in case you didn't catch the unboxing, here's a sample of the webcam. This is the webcam on the Lenovo Legion 5 Pro, and a little sample of the audio for you as well. Now the keyboard on this laptop is actually more of a medium key press. I like it's a little bit taller than some of the standard, thin and light laptops, because if you look at the, the Lenovo Legion Slim 7, that's more of a short to medium key press. So this really has good tactile feel to it. It's very responsive, snaps back really quickly. Has a small numpad on the right side. I know a lot of creators and gamers alike really appreciate that numpad. And here's a quick audio sample of me using both the keyboard and trackpad so you can hear what it sounds like. Now the trackpad is something I wish that was a little bit bigger. We have a lot of room here to make it bigger. It's a consistent complaint of mine since last year's Legion 5i and 5i Pro, and so we still have this size trackpad. I think it could be bigger. Asus is bringing out a lot of nice large trackpads. Something like the Republic of Gamer Flow X16 has a nice large trackpad. And I'll probably do a dedicated head-to-head review between the X16 and the Legion 5i and 5i Pro, so keep an eye out for that on the channel in future reviews. Now this does have an RGB backlit keyboard, as you can see right there as it's as the computer's firing up, and it's just a nice touch. I think in the past only the Legion 7 has come with that, so that we get that in the Legion 5 Pro is really great because it's a little more budget friendly compared to the Legion 7. Now keep in mind, to get that awesome battery life that I showed off just a few minutes ago, you're gonna have to be at 25% screen brightness with a screen set to 60 Hertz on iGPU mode and on quiet mode. That is how I got these battery life results. So I wanna make sure that that was a full disclaimer on the battery life results. And of course the keyboard backlighting is turned off as well. Now I think one thing that makes this laptop stand out a lot is actually really good thermals and fan noise. If you see those results coming up on the screen right now, this is from the 4K video editing export, and we saw really nice results out of this laptop. Now the port selection is something that's always great to point out on this laptop. You have a lot of ports on this laptop. You have your network port, USB Type-C, HDMI, 2 USB Type-A's, and your power adapter. On the left side, you have another two USB Type-Cs, and on the right side, you have an additional USB Type-A headphone jack and a cutoff switch for the webcam. So you have 3 USB Type-A's and 3 USB Type-C's. Plenty of connectivity for both gamers and creators. I focus on creators here on this channel, so really the one lacking port would be the SD card slot, which can be found on the Lenovo Legion Slim 7 if you really want that SD card slot to be a part of your on-the-go port selection. Now the screen on this laptop is something I'm very impressed by. We have great screen brightness, we have a good color gamut range, we fall down a little bit for the Adobe RGB and DCI P3, but then the color accuracy of the Delta E is 1.24, which is really nice. That means that the colors that are reproduced on your screen are going to be accurate. And Anything below 2 is excellent. So really nice screen results here. And this is a 16:10 aspect ratio screen, more of a matte finish. You won't have as much reflection and glare on your screen, say if you're working outside. So I really like that touch that it's a matte screen. And of course, a 16:10 aspect ratio creates very nice screen real estate when you're working in Premiere Pro or Photoshop or Blender or whatever creative tool you're using. Without further ado, let's go ahead and get into the benchmarks here so we can see how this thing performed up against other popular laptops that I've been reviewing on my channel. Now, first and foremost, looking at Geekbench single core and multi-core, it had good performance. It fell right in the mid-range of the charts. So nothing to really blow you away as far as the simulated benchmarks are concerned. As we moved into Cinebench R20, same thing, kind of mid-range on the charts. And these are most of the high-performing gaming laptops that I review on my channel. So that's a good, solid benchmark. As we moved into Cinebench R23, single core and multi-core, again, about the same. Now, life isn't made up of simulated benchmarks, so I like to get right into the real-world benchmarks as fast as I can. And starting off in Photoshop, you can see that we have an 881. Now, this is a good score. Anything above an 800, and really as far as thin and light laptops are concerned, anything above a 700 is stellar. And so that this almost hits the 900 range, I'm really happy with. I think this will be plenty of performance inside of Photoshop. Now looking at After Effects, we hit the 857. And again, anything above that 800 range is good. It's fantastic. It's gonna perform well. In the 900s, I mean, obviously you're gonna get even better and better. If you wanna see a little bit more ceiling out of After Effects or Photoshop, you can go ahead and upgrade the RAM in this laptop, say from 16 to 32. And that's really helpful to get even more performance out of Photoshop and After Effects. Now moving on to the Blender Classroom test, because this laptop has an RTX 3060, we're seeing a mid-range score of about 694. If this had an RTX 3070 Ti or just an RTX 3070, we would be up into those 700s. That 8 gigs of VRAM is really helpful in Blender. Blender really is a graphics heavy program, and so that's where you're gonna see a better result out of this laptop if you have that better GPU. Now, moving on to Autodesk 3ds Max and Autodesk Maya, we're scoring a nice mid-range of the chart on Autodesk 3ds Max. And then in Autodesk Maya, we're almost at the top of the charts for laptops in this specific category with those RTX 3060s and 3070 Ti's. Now, as we move on to PTC Creo, we kind of bumped down a little bit on the chart, but we're still right up there, a 195, so right below the 200s for those really nice laptops. As you can see, the RTX 3080 Ti is really kicking up the high performance there with a 283 out of the Triton 500 SE. And so if you want to get more performance out of this laptop, I recommend a 3070 Ti or a 3070, if you can find one and order that. So that's a good option. If I can find one with this Ryzen processor and a 3070 Ti, I'll link it in the description below and you can check it out. And yes, you can hear children hooting and hollering in the background. Forgive me, I do my best to kind of insulate this door, but they play and yell and have fun. So they're here, and so I just do my best to just work through the noise. So thank you for your kindness on, if that annoys you, I'm sorry. Got a lot of children running around here. It's fun, it's crazy, it's fun. Okay, moving on to SolidWorks, you can see that we have a 97. The thing with this program, when it comes to SolidWorks, it likes workstation equipped GPUs, or it likes RX Radeon GPUs. So something like the Quadro A2000, 3000, 5000 from NVIDIA is gonna score really well. And then something like the RX 67 or 6800S from AMD is gonna score really well. Really, if you're getting an NVIDIA gaming GPU, anything from like an RTX 3050 Ti all the way up to an RTX 3070 Ti, you're only usually gonna have about a 10 to 20 point difference between those GPUs. So if you're trying to get like more GPU for SolidWorks, don't pay more for a gaming GPU from NVIDIA. I would pay more for a workstation GPU from NVIDIA, or I would go with the AMD Radeon RX GPUs, like I just mentioned. That's how you're gonna get more performance in SolidWorks. But if you're not a big SolidWorks user, don't even worry about it. That's really the one asterisk on these benchmarks. Moving on to the Premiere Pro Playback, what we do is we put a 9-minute project inside of Premiere Pro. It has roughly 16,177 frames, and then we see how many frames it drops in each resolution. For 4K, we saw no drop frames. For 6K B-RAW, about 393. That's fantastic. You probably won't even notice the drop frames there. And then for red footage, about 3,938. That's pretty good. It's not great for the test I've been running, but for an RTX 3060, it's good. Because for the RTX 3070 Ti, it's about 800 drop frames. So for an RTX 3060, this is really good. And it's much better than last year. A lot of laptops last year were dropping anywhere from 6 to 12,000 of the 16,000 frames. So we're seeing laptops definitely improve with red footage this year. Now moving on to the Premiere Pro export times, you can see in 4K, this is a 9-minute 4K clip placed into Premiere Pro and then exported out at full quality 4K YouTube settings, about a 3-minute and 2-second export time, right on par in that average, anywhere from 2:30 to about 3 minutes. So looks good there. Moving on to the 6K BRAW export, it hit the 17-minute mark. I thought this was good, but it wasn't great. I'm just gonna point out really quickly, as you see the Legion 5i Pro up there, it had a 14-minute and 43-second export time, so it's actually almost 3 full minutes faster to go with the Intel processor. But we'll do the full head-to-head review, so don't get too carried away. I'll link that up here at the end of this video. Don't forget, we're giving away Legion 5 Pros when we hit 100,000 subscribers. So if you haven't subscribed yet, definitely do that. And also like this video and share it out, because the quicker we get to 100,000 subscribers, the quicker we can do the giveaway. All right, let's jump back into it. Also, if you don't want to wait for the giveaway, I'll put links in the description below of the Legion 5 Pro. You can check out the live pricing, and if you want to make a purchase, it will give me a small commission, but at no extra cost to you. But of course, that's what keeps this channel alive and the helpful content coming your way. So I'm super grateful when y'all use those links. All right, I'm moving on to DaVinci Resolve. DaVinci Resolve was another one where we kind of hit the mid-range on the charts with a 647. As you can see, that Legion 5i Pro up there at 556, only about a minute faster. So that isn't as crucial between the two there. Should you buy the Legion 5 Pro? I think punch for punch, it's one of the best 16-inch semi-on-the-go laptops with solid battery life and amazing performance that you can get. I mean, you can find them for such a good price. I'm not gonna even quote the live price right now because it actually tends to change so much. So you can check it out in the description below. But it's such a great laptop. It continues to perform well. It has really fantastic aluminum build quality, tons of ports, a nice keyboard deck, a medium-sized trackpad. It has so much going for it. I teeter back and forth between a lot of laptops that I just absolutely love, but this honestly is one of the top laptops in my mind. If I were gonna buy a laptop today and I needed the performance and the connectivity, this would definitely be top of my list. Again, don't forget to subscribe if you've yet to do so. Links in the description below if you wanna check the live pricing, and likes if this video has brought you some value. I'll see you in the next one.